Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video review we take a look at the LG G8X ThinQ Dual Screen, a smartphone that offers not one, but two screens to work and play with. The LG G8X ThinQ Dual Screen is not a typical phone. Yes, it is a smartphone, but when you open it up like this, you have two 6.4-inch OLED screens to work with. Now, it is not a foldable phone, so just because it folds out the way it does not really count as a foldable phone, because it's not like you've got one screen put together when you fold it out like this. But even so, it is a very, very unique device, and there's a lot of reasons why I liked it. So as I said, there are two 6.4-inch OLED displays. So you got the main one, which is on the phone itself, because again, this is a phone that comes out, and you could argue that the rest of it is kind of like a case that has a screen built in. So you, I guess, could kill two birds with one stone. You have a case for your phone already, and then you get another screen that you can use when you want to. What I like the most, I think, is pretty obvious probably to most people, if you're thinking about it, is the multitasking. So the fact that you can have two different things going on at the two screens at the same time. There's no doubt that to me is the #1 selling feature for this device. And the scenarios are endless, right? I mean, like, you know, you could have a video playing on one screen while you're dealing with email or texting somebody on the other. You could be watching a live sporting event and then tweeting on the other screen at the same time, something that's popular these days. There are just so many different things. I mean, whether it's personal or work, there's a lot of different combinations in what you can run. You can't run two videos at the same time. So if you're thinking that you can watch two different sporting events at the same time, unfortunately, that is not the case. So there's no way to do that. I wish there was, but only one video can play at a time. The displays themselves are pretty nice, vibrant, bright as well. Decent resolution also. So if you're watching video on either screen, I think you'll like the way they look. Being OLED is obviously a plus too. So those factors, I mean, from a technical side, work. Of course, the second screen runs off the battery of the phone, so it is not self-powered unto itself, which is why that the phone comes with an adapter for the USB-C charger so that you can charge it while it's in this case, because the case itself doesn't have a USB-C port at the bottom. It's got a different sort of magnetic connector at the bottom. So all that being said, the other element here, of course, is when you have two screens, if you're into gaming, that also plays well into this too, where you can use the LG gamepad to have on-screen controls while you're seeing the game play on the second display. It's very, very cool. It's kind of like a Nintendo DS, really, with the way you kind of feel it and the way you hold it. So interesting. Not every game uses this, so it's not, sorry, I should say that not every game is compatible with this type of arrangement where you can use the buttons on the first screen and then play the game or just watch the game on the second. There are some games that are already preloaded on the device that you can use for that purpose, but not every game, unfortunately, supports it. For the camera, I just want to, because I think LG sometimes is not recognized for having very good cameras on their phones. The camera here is very, very good. There's always room for improvement. It's not the best that's out there, but it is very, very capable, especially if you're using the manual mode. Now, one thing that I thought that was cool is that you can shoot with the camera and you will see the camera interface on the second display and then the preview of what you just shot on the first. So literally you're seeing the photo right after you shot immediately, as opposed to having to get out of the camera app, go and see it. You know, the typical sort of process that we go through with phones. You don't have to do that here. It's very, very interesting. I mean, I noticed people were noticing me using the device, and they were kind of puzzled by it. It's like, what phone is that? You know, and some people even thought it was the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which it obviously is not. And I just kind of had to explain that, yeah, it's a dual screen phone. It runs off the one device, so you can actually take the phone out if you don't want to use the second screen. You can turn the second screen off even from within the interface as well. Of course, there's that special menu that pops up from the side. So you have all those interesting elements in how you can use it. The case is fairly rugged. It's not a rugged case, but it obviously adds some protection. And then, of course, the front has a small script here to show you some of the main things like the time, the date, and notifications. So it's fairly well thought out in the way that LG did this. I thought it was an interesting concept. So if you're looking for something that is really keen on multitasking, this would be it. I mean, yeah, you could have two apps open at the same time. You could even extend that to 3 or 4 if you wanted to, because so you have the dual screen situation, and then you could have the split screen that you can also utilize as well. so that you can have two apps kind of running at the same time on one of the screens, and then you have something else on the other. Anyway, I mean, you'll know what I mean when you see it. But either way, as a multitasking device, this is easily one of the best phones I've seen for that. Granted, yes, there's a second display to make that possible, but that's the whole point. The whole point is to have that second display to make it easier to do more at the same time. So for that reason, I would say it's a great device. The battery life's not bad, despite the fact that there's that second display. It's not amazing. It's obviously better if you just keep it to one screen, but for the most part, you know, you're not going to keep the second screen on if you don't really need it. So I think as long as you manage your usage, you're going to be totally fine. And that's my review of the LG G8X ThinQ Dual Screen for the Best Buy blog. I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.